All right, we are gonna do the 2023 NFL draft because tomorrow it is the draft, and we are gonna just start it. We're only gonna do the first round because I don't want this video to be like an hour. Okay, the Bears. No, the Bears. The Panthers. Well, they're gonna take Bryce Young. This is a no-brainer. Pretty easy option. He's the best quarterback available. Second overall used to be CJ Stroud, but his S2 score was low from reports that it was like an 18. I think it was 18 out of 100. And that's not that good. It's just the S2 test is to like test your cognitive, to like your thinking, your quick thinking, all that. So, they could risk it here and pass on CJ Stroud because your S2 score doesn't always mean you're good or you're bad. But I believe that that's not going to thwart them. They're gonna get a good quarterback coach, or they're gonna get someone. They're gonna find a way and mentor him into being a good QB. Third overall, well, the Cardinals need a lineman, and they need to stop the rush, and especially in the NFC West, they're gonna have to stop CMC and the Seahawks, who might take Bijan. I thought they will, but they could. I mean, they won't. They could take Kenneth Walker. They have Kenneth Walker. And Kenneth Walker is a pretty good running back. Not a great, but, pretty good. So we're going to select Jalen Carter to stop that run. The Colts, they need a QB. So, seeing as the best quarterback available is Will Levis, I feel like the Colts will draft Will Levis, hoping they'll find their next Andrew Luck maybe. But we'll see that. The Seahawks need a defensive lineman, but Jalen Carter's off the board. So, what are they gonna do? Well, they're not gonna go draft Kalijah Kancey. He's good, but he's gonna get drafted way too high. But supposedly he's the next Aaron Donald, from what I saw once in a while here and there. But I believe they will draft Will Anderson. They are gonna need an edge. They're gonna start building that line. The Legion of Boom is coming back right now. Okay, receiver. The Lions, they need a corner. That secondary isn't the best. I mean, I don't know who they added, but I feel like the receivers are pretty decent. I feel like they need to flex their defense because they had a top 10 offense. So their defense. So Devin Witherspoon is off the board. The Raiders. The Raiders cannot draft Will Levis anymore. He is off the board. Seeing as they need an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, and a corner, I feel like they might take Christian Gonzalez. Because there's no QB that's worth taking other than Anthony Richardson. And I feel like they won't take him. I feel like the Falcons might take him. So, seeing how they need to stop that, seeing how they need an offensive lineman, I feel like they're going to draft Peter Skoronski. That's a very far-stretched one. If it wasn't for the fact that a lot of this kind of isn't that good on my draft part, yeah. So the Falcons need a QB. This is a no-brainer. They're going to take Anthony Richardson. They could take Jackson Smith-Njigba, but who's going to throw to him? Desmond Ridder? They could trade up. They could trade down. We'll see. I feel like they'll take Anthony Richardson. Well, the Bears. The Bears just saw Peter Skoronski go to the Raiders. They don't have their tackle, so they go move to center, but there's no center up here. So they could take defensive linemen and build that D-line. Or they could draft a corner. I do believe that they will draft a corner, but they need a receiver. But they have DJ Moore now. So I'm going to risk it here and believe the Chicago Bears will take Kalijah Kancey The Eagles need a receivers, and seeing how Jackson Smith-Njigba is still on the board, he's off. And so the Titans just watch the receiver go away. Seeing how the Titans need a receiver and offensive lineman, they're gonna have to go deep into the draft. So they're gonna draft the second best receiver, Jordan Addison. Or that's what I would say. I think Quentin Johnson is just a little bit more better. Because, you make it to the championship, you have to have a good. It's just he's ranked higher. But I do believe Quentin Johnson. I feel like they would just draft him. The Texans, seeing how they still need a receiver, they will go down here and select Jordan Addison. Back-to-back receivers. 3 receivers, dang. Okay, the Packers. Seeing how the best QB receivers are gone and they need a tight end, Dalton Kincaid comes off the board. The Patriots. I do believe, and I am saying this now, I do believe Mac Jones is going to be the starter. Let me drink some water. I do believe Mac Jones will be the starter. But they might trade him. Who knows? They need an edge. So, seeing how Nolan Smith is still on there, why not draft him? Now the Jets. The Jets just got Aaron Rodgers, so they don't need a QB anymore. They need a linebacker and a tackle. Seeing how they need a tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers since he's 40 years old now, they'll take Paris Johnson. The Washington Commanders. They need a QB, a guard, a center, and a linebacker. Taylor Heinicke has shown that he could maybe make it in this league, but he kind of fell off nearing the end. But seeing how they need a linebacker and a guard and a center, they need a lot of positions. I'm gonna go to filter positions, search of the best guard. Never mind, I don't know any guards in this draft. I'm gonna believe they take Osiris Torrance. They need a guard. And tackle, they're going to take. The Steelers need a tackle. And they need to go good. They're going to take Darnell Wright, who didn't allow pressure, from what I've read. The Lions still need a receiver, a tight end, and a lineman. Are going to take their tight end and Michael Mayer. The Bucks. They just signed Baker Mayfield to a pretty good deal. I think it was like a 1 million, 1 year 10 mil. I keep forgetting. So the Bucks will not need any of this. They don't need a QB. They do need a tight end, and that O-line does need to be fixed. But safety should be addressed because there's not really something they can really do right here. Their safety position is not the best, so they will take Brian Branch. The Seahawks. The Seahawks could draft whoever they choose because they now have their edge in Will Anderson and could realistically get the best player available here. So seeing how they need a center, I feel like they'll take the risk here and get John Michael Schmitz. They'll take the risk there. The Dolphins forfeited their pick, so they don't get anything. The Chargers, they need a receiver. So we're going to have to take the best receiver available, which is Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers might go higher, actually, but I feel like he could fall there. The Ravens also need a receiver because unless they some way trade for D-Hop, there's DeAndre Hopkins, there's no way. And since the best receiver just came off in Zay Flowers and the next best receiver is Josh Downs, I feel like they're going to just go on that defense and get Myles Murphy. The Vikings need a receiver because they just lost Adam Thielen, but I feel like they could just replace him, not easily, but they could get some backup. They're going to need a defensive lineman or linebacker. They need someone out there. Luckily, Christian Gonzalez is up there because that Vikings defense isn't the best. They got blown out and won a lot of their games by one possession. The Jaguars, they need an edge and a DB, and a guard and a center. But Lucas Van Ness is still here, and seeing how they need a defense, I feel like they should just risk it there. Now the Giants. The Giants need to pick a receiver here. So as much as it's a huge stretch here, I feel like maybe they will take a huge risk on Josh Downs. And the Cowboys, they need a running back. And seeing how Bijan Robinson didn't fit in any of these schemes, they was going to draft Bijan in the first round there. And the Bills. The Bills need lineman, linebacker, and corner. Seeing how the best corner is still available in Deontay Banks, he's coming off the board. The Bengals just lost T. Higgins, right? T. Higgins? I think that was the title. I keep forgetting. So they need to replace him. So, seeing how they need to replace him, Darnell Washington is available, but that defense needs to be fixed up just a little. They could take Joey Porter or they could draft a tight end. But seeing how they already have their offense, I feel like they'll go defense and start building it from there. The Saints need a lot. I feel like they need to build that O-line. So they're going to take a guard and Steve Avila. As we could see from here, he's pretty good. Dang, he had a terrible game right there. Yeah. I feel like they could. I mean, at this point, you're still like getting pieces. The Eagles need a receiver, guard, center, D-line, and safety. And seeing how they need a defensive lineman because they lost a lot, they're gonna take Mozzie Smith. And the Chiefs, they could draft whoever they want, and they could develop pretty well. They do need a receiver core, but I feel like their defense needs to be fixed up just a little, maybe. But they do need to replace Juju Smith-Schuster, so Nathaniel Dell. And let's see my result. Wow. Yeah, pretty decent. And let's see the full results here. Yeah, it's a pretty decent draft class. Maybe potential, like the first 5 I could see happening. But the rest, it's it's like very eh. But this was pretty fun for me to do. I actually liked it. I like doing these drafts. Maybe I'm gonna post a video tomorrow on my reaction to like the first 32 picks. And that's it. I will see you tomorrow.